Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of boxing. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my top 5 rising stars in the sport of boxing today. So these 5 stars are eligible to be in my conversation of terms of being the next big thing, the next big box office attraction in the sport of boxing. These are my 5 boxers on my list. So I'll be going from number 5 all the way up to number 1. Starting off with number 5, I have heavyweight Jared Anderson. Now, looking at Jared Anderson's career thus far, he's been one of the best heavyweight prospects that we have seen in years in the heavyweight division in the sport of boxing. And we haven't seen a homegrown heavyweight prospect in the sport of boxing in a long time. And I will say that Bob Arum in ESPN Top Rank has done a great job grooming Jared Anderson up into this particular point of his boxing career thus far to potentially be the next big threat in the heavyweight division. But looking at Jared Anderson's record right now, he is currently 17-0. He has 15 victories come away of knockout. What boxing fan does not like to see heavyweight fighters get knockout victories? That's what Jared Anderson has done since Bob Arum and ESPN Top Rank have groomed him thus far. And his frame, Jared Anderson's a big guy, standing at 6'4", 240 pounds. The power, he has the power, the boxing skills to one day be a future world champion in this heavyweight division. Now, he will get his true first test in the heavyweight division August 3rd on the Terence Crawford undercard, which is set up to be one of the best boxing cards in boxing in a long time in the sport of boxing. But on the undercard of the Terence Crawford fight, he will be fighting Martin Bakole. So that is a huge test for Jared Anderson moving forward. But he's number 5 on my Rising Stars list. Now, number 4, I have William Zepeda. Now, William Zepeda, I've said in the past on the podcast, especially on the Combat Series, that Oscar De La Hoya, the guy that runs Golden Boy Promotions, one of the greatest boxers of all time, he has a future cash cow in Golden Boy Promotions with William Zepeda. Now, obviously, everybody knows that Oscar De La Hoya's cash cow is, of course, Ryan Garcia. But he has a future. He could potentially have a future cash cow in the name of William Zepeda as well. William Zepeda right now is one of the hottest fighters at the lightweight division. He is currently 31-0 with 27 victories coming away of knockout. Currently the number 1 fighter, number 1 ranked contender in all 4 sanctioned bodies, being the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF sanctions right now in the lightweight division. He's the number 1 contender. So it looks like we could potentially be seeing Shakur Stevenson defend his WBC world title against William Zepeda, who has been ordered by the WBC to be the new number 1 contender for Shakur Stevenson's title. So that could be a fight we see by the end of 2024. But I will say, anything can happen in combat sports. And if William Zepeda can find a way to defeat Shakur Stevenson, if they fight, he would be a future star in the sport of boxing. It would all be there for him, getting a marquee win against a pound-for-pound fighter in Shakur Stevenson. But William Zepeda, to me, has a bright future. He's number 4 on my Rising Stars list. Now, at number 3, it's Keyshawn Davis. Now, for Keyshawn Davis's sake, it's a matter of when Keyshawn Davis will be a star in the sport of boxing, because whenever Bob Arum and ESPN Top Rank want to take the training wheels off of Keyshawn Davis, I think Keyshawn Davis could be a legitimate threat in the lightweight division in the sport of boxing. And I believe that Keyshawn Davis has all the ability, all the potential to be a future star at 135. I mean, the skills are there for Keyshawn Davis. He's a former silver medalist in the 2020 Summer Olympics. He's accurate landing punches in the boxing ring, and he's a good technical boxer. Bo Mack, trainer for Terence Crawford, has done a great job grooming Keyshawn Davis up to this point. So we know that Keyshawn Davis has the potential. We all know that Keyshawn Davis has the boxing skills. It's a matter of when Bob Arum and ESPN Top Rank are going to take off those training wheels. And I think a good test for Keyshawn Davis will be fighting a former unified champion in George Kambosos. That would be a good test to see if Keyshawn Davis is ready to take the next step at the lightweight division, or fight Frank Martin. I think that was supposed to be a fight we should have got between Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis before Frank Martin even went to go and fight Gervonta Davis. So I think that is still two big fights on the table for Keyshawn Davis to see where he's legitimately at the lightweight division, to see if he could be a potential star. But I think everything's on the writing on the wall is there for him to be a star. It's just a matter of when Bob Arum's going to take off them training wheels. He's number 3 on my list. Now, and number 2, I have Jaron Ennis. Now, obviously, you guys know I'm very high on Jaron Ennis. For those who follow the podcast, Jaron Ennis has all the talent in the world to be the next big star in the sport of boxing and so-called the next big thing in the sport. I mean, he has, don't get me wrong, I look back at Jaron Ennis's film, and I feel like I've come to the realization that Jaron Ennis has that old school type of fighter vibe, and you really don't get that from this generation of boxing nowadays, to have that old school flavor in the sport of boxing today, because Jaron Ennis wants to fight the best of the best. He's a very patient boxer. His boxing IQ is top notch. His boxing IQ is also off the charts. His power, his aggressiveness. He has a good technical style in the boxing ring as well. Great footwork. I mean, what is there not to like about Jaron Ennis? The man is great as hell in that boxing ring. And now that Eddie Hearns has control of Jaron Ennis' career as his new promoter with Matchroom Boxing, everyone's really leaning towards seeing Jaron Ennis versus Terrence Crawford, which I wouldn't mind seeing that at 154. I've said on last week's Combat Series that is one of the biggest fights to make in the sport of boxing. However, this is how I would like to see Jaron Ennis play out. I would like to see him fight Terrence Crawford at 154. B, fight Errol Spence at 154. I mean, we're all talking about Crawford. What about Errol Spence? I think it's a good fight between Jaron Ennis and Errol Spence at 154. Let's not forget that Errol Spence was the man at the welterweight division until Terrence Crawford beat him for years. He had 3 out of 4 of the titles before Crawford beat him. So why are we not getting in the conversation for running a Jaron Ennis versus Errol Spence fight? I think that's a 50-50 fight and a closer fight than what a fight would be between Jaron Ennis and Terrence Crawford. So why is the world of boxing not trying to get that fight situated, or having those type of conversations that we're having for Jaron Ennis versus Crawford? Or I think it would be a good idea for Boots Ennis to be an undisputed champion, be undisputed at welterweight, and then move up to 154 to fight one of those big time names at that division. But that's how I would book Jaron Ennis, one of those 3 options next for him in his next fight. But I think he has all the potential in the world to be the next big star. He's number 2 on my list. Now, number 1. This fighter right here, I do believe, has the potential to be the next big box office attraction in the sport of boxing, and his name is Bam Rodriguez. Easily, Bam Rodriguez right now is a pound-for-pound top 10 fighter in the sport of boxing today. And Bam Rodriguez already has the accomplishments to be on that pound-for-pound list. He's already a 2-division world champion, currently the reigning defending WBC super flyweight champion, and also holds the Ring Magazine title after his victory against Juan Estrada. He also has the flyweight titles. He's also the unified champion at the flyweight division, holding the WBO and the IBF world titles at that division. He already has signature wins against Christian Gonzalez, Sonny Edwards, and of course Juan Estrada, like I just said a few moments ago. But in terms of being a star in the sport of boxing, you have to be a knockout artist, and you have to put asses in seats, and you got to make casuals tune into you. And I think Bam Rodriguez is on his way to doing that, because that's what the sport of boxing is all about. You want to see someone get knocked out. Of course, not everybody can be a knockout artist, and a lot of people tune in to see a technical style in the sport of boxing. There's nothing wrong with that. But to make casuals tune in and to make people ooh and ah about your performance, you got to have KO power or puncher's power, and that's what Bam Rodriguez has. And he has the skills, the power, and the boxing skills to be the next big box office attraction in the sport of boxing. And I think one day Bam Rodriguez is going to be that box office attraction. So I think the skills and accolades is already there. But in terms of being a star, I think Bam Rodriguez is on his way to being a box office attraction in the sport of boxing at just a young age, at 25 years of age, 24, 25 years of age. But those are my top 5 rising stars lists in the sport of boxing. And that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.